one of the things I have always loved all my life was libraries. When I was a little kid, it was a different world. 8 years old, I could get on my bicycle in Santa Clara, California, and ride from my home on Las Palmas Drive down to the downtown library. Without adult supervision, I was considered perfectly safe. I would lay my bike on the lawn and go inside. No lock. This was a different era. This is 1959, and I went inside, and I remember going over to the children's section, and I read everything that was. I was 8 years old, so I was proud of reading the fifth grade and sixth grade books, and I'd read everything that looked remotely interesting to me. And I remember my trepidation as I watched the librarian. When she was distracted, I trotted over as secretly as I could into the adult part. But then I didn't know what I was doing, so I saw some books with a little spaceship symbol on the spine, and that's where I got some of the great Groff Conklin anthologies, collections of short stories from the era when there were very few science fiction books published at all. They all came out in magazines, and I wasn't getting the magazines, so those books introduced me to. That's when I read Poul Anderson's Call Me Joe. Was because I was free. I was loose in a library. And then when my wife and I were first married, we had no money. In fact, we had negative income, I believe, at the time. I think that people actually came and took food from us because we owed it. But we walked to the Salt Lake City Library. We lived in the avenues of Salt Lake City, little rented house. And our idea of a cool date was we would walk down to the Salt Lake City Library and go into the children's section and look through. That's when we discovered Louise Fitzhugh and E.L. Konigsberg and Patricia McKillop, because that's where their books were being offered. So we were finding some of the best writers working in the YA section of the library. But thank heaven for libraries. Thank heaven for hardbound books, for books that are tactile, that you can just bump into, that you can just see and pull off the shelf. Amazon does a pretty darn good job of steering you to possible other books that you might like. Their algorithms are pretty good. But nothing compares to just being there where the books are just stacked up and you can just see the title, see the spine, pull it down, look at it, see what it feels like. I hope that never ends.